A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me as always, it's the Aaron Peacebringer to my Corral Longknife, Demiarch of the 12 Tribes, John Campbell.
Everyone's favorite Star Wars characters. I have such fond memories of playing with their action figures as a kid. Oh, no, I'm sorry. These are non-existent characters that don't matter at all.
Great. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, John. I read this wrong. It says here those character names are actually John Carter and Tars Tarkas, Jedediah Thark.
Those guys I know.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, we're still in the middle of this. Well, we're not in the middle. We're finally, thank God, at the end, blissfully two-part Star Wars comic storyline that is, as we discussed last week, unused issue of the John Carter comic from Marvel that was glommed into being two. That's right, one issue of John Carter glommed into being two issues of the Star Wars comic.
Yeah, if you want the full context of how this came to be, go listen to the last episode or watch it if you're over on YouTube. But long story short, the Warlord of Mars series over at Marvel got canceled, but because of how comic book production works, there was still some leftover art from an unused fill-in issue that Carmine Infantino drew. Then somebody in Marvel editorial said, we need 2 months of buffer time for the Star Wars book. We got this other Star Fantasy crap rolling around the office. Let's just turn that into a Star Wars book. Hey, Walt Simonson, you up for this? And Simonson, in his wisdom, said, yeah, sure. I'm getting paid this month, right?
Yeah, Simonson said, I work here, so... who's the new guy? Simonson. Yeah. Yes, sir. Because this is beginnings of the Walt Simonson ascent to greatness, of course.
Sure. Yeah. So what this issue is, have you ever seen Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
Yeah, it's a little bit that Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, the Steve Martin movie also is
Yep. You take something, you chop it up into a bunch of pieces, and you re-edit it, and insert things that weren't originally there to make a coherent story. It's also a lot like the Woody Allen Casino Royale.
Oh, yeah. You know what works about all of those, though? They're comedies. So the nonsense of them kind of plays into the tone. Interesting how that works. Oh, boy.
We trained him wrong as a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a fun experiment. This is nonsense.
This is penny saving from Marvel editorial gone too far, gone mad, one might say.
Yeah, one Jim Shooter drunk with power and maybe other stuff. I don't know. I was looking at, because I always am, collectibles and stuff online, and there was a CGC graded 9 point whatever of a comic signed by Jim Shooter, and I went, nope, and just moved.
Unless it was Secret Wars 2, then I don't know.
I don't think there's any, but there's no amount of money I want for if somebody just gave me that, man. Of all the things I could be bidding on, I'm not getting Jim Shooter signed comics.
All right, speaking of Jim Shooter, our credits for this issue, we're talking about issue number 54 of Marvel Comics Group Presents Star Wars, nay, John Carter of Mars. This issue came out in December of 1981. Now, 3 years after 2-ish years after the Warlord of Mars book was canceled at Marvel. This
Terrific
issue,
time to bring it back.
Terrific time to bring it back. This issue, and the list of inkers here is going to tell you all you need to know about what a hack job this is.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont as the writer, doing what he does best in big, verbose text boxes. Carmine Infantino, the original artist. Walt Simonson, the artist who is trying to do said hack job. More like a jigsaw artist, really, in this, kind of piecing it together.
Yeah.
We've got Al Milgram, Frank Giacoa, and Tom Palmer all on inks, trying to put this puzzle together as well.
Love it.
And Glennis Oliver Nayween on colors.
Yeah.
Let's get right into this cover here with the first layer of deception.
Is that the fact that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends are premiering September 12th on NBC? Because that's pretty.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Who will His Amazing Friends be, and how amazing will they be?
Will the character of what's her name? Firestar? No.
It's no. What is her name? Spider-Man and His Amazing, because they needed a fire lady.
Yeah. Because it was Spider-Man, Iceman, and
Spider-Man. It's Firestar.
Firestar. That's what I said.
Oh, you did say Firestar. Okay. I think I.
And she was later retconned to also be a mutant, I think.
I believe you're correct on that. Yes.
But
I won Chris Claremont. Because of course, Kathy Garver.
But right off the bat, on the cover of this, we have got a big purple-faced skull man.
Sorry, we're going to get notes. Kathy Garver was the voice actress. Angel Jones is her name.
Got it.
Sorry. I want to preempt those comments.
Of course.
Sorry.
We've got a big skull-faced man pointing at characters who don't belong in a Star Wars book, saying, "In the name of Darth Vader, destroy them."
Hey, Jim Shooter says, get Darth Vader's name in there somewhere.
Darth Vader does not appear in this issue.
I don't care how. You get Darth Vader's name in there. You understand me?
We've got a lot of stormtroopers on this cover, shooting laser blasts at a scantily clad group of space adventurers.
Pew pew pew.
I think one of them is supposed to be Leia, based on the bra.
Yeah. But the other one doesn't even look like they're John Carter, really.
I mean, look, he's a big brown-haired hunk leaping through the air. He could be John Carter. You don't know.
I love by the way, my favorite stormtrooper is the one on the bottom all the way to the right, who's just shooting straight up. Got him. They're nowhere near where he's shooting. It's great.
So yeah, the guy on the cover here is the villain we were introduced in the last page of last issue. It's Scar.
Scar.
S-K-apostrophe-A-R. Scar.
R. Not Scar. Not Scar.
No.
Scar.
Scar. Yes.
Scar.
You need that. You need that glottal stop after the K.
Yeah. Scar.
And yeah, let's get into it, because right off the bat with Starfire Rising.
Do we love him?
Not Firestar, Starfire. Different thing. And not the Starfire you're thinking of either.
DC saw this issue and there was hovering over the speed dial for the lawyer, and they went, "No, he got us. He flipped it. Damn it." All right. Yeah. Anyway, he is swinging not John Carter around on a chain by his chain that he's
jerking his chain.
Yeah. It's true. This son of a bitch is jerking my chain.
And again, all the caption boxes here done in the first person of Aaron Peacebringer, who is, of course, the John Carter stand-in in this issue. We talked at length last episode about the John Carterisms of this book, and so we'll try not to be as robust in our discussion of that. Just know that they're happening.
Yeah, it's John Carter. It's a John Carter comic that they have clumsily tried to turn into a Star Wars comic.
To the point where we have this John Carter art drawn by Infantino, and in the background, drawn by Walt Simonson, we have characters who might appear in a Star Wars book.
Yeah, I do like the collection of Imperial people watching. Scar is doing a great job.
Because he pronounces himself, "I am Scar. I have the honor to be the general in the Imperial Strike Force. You, your city, your pathetic little planet, have the honor to be my next target."
Kind of like the way he's talking. I sort of like the idea of this all about the honor of being killed by me. That's cool. That's a cool bad guy thing.
Let's talk about Scar for a moment, if we may.
Well, I want to know how this guy got recruited into the Empire, but
Would you be surprised to learn that it had a little to do with a certain Thrawn?
That makes it more exciting if it does, for sure.
Well, let's get into it,
Oh, that
because
guy.
let's talk about Bentilius Sanskar, as he is known on Wikipedia. When I looked this guy up, I was shocked at how much there was, until I read that most of this was from an RPG book, and then I stopped being shocked at all.
That fucking RPG book, man. That keeps coming up time and time again. And I get it, because you need a lot of things, right? So you just go like, oh, hey, there's a thing in a comic book I think we can kind of use.
And it was also, a lot of this comes from an RPG book and the Aliens of the Empire Part 2 of the, do you remember the, online companion to, what was the Star Wars magazine called?
Was it Star Wars Insider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was an online, portion of that called Hyperspace.
Right.
And one of those was Aliens of the Empire, because they are a rarity, right? We talked a little bit about this last time.
They're pretty humanoid based.
Yeah, even Thrawn is kind of on the just very edge of what is acceptable in the Empire.
I mean, where we know him now, he's literally lost in all of time and space.
Yeah.
Well, I guess spoilers. He's not anymore.
True, but also there is the Galaxy at War book, which was produced by Wizards of the Coast in 2009.
I remember seeing that on shelves. Mm-hmm. And
were you working at Barnes & Noble at that time?
Ooh, maybe.
09?
Oh, a little bit after, but yeah. No, that I was in my Blockbuster days at that point.
Ah, okay.
I was riding the sinking ship of Blockbuster.
But that particular RPG book covers the big wars happening between the Clone Wars and the Galactic Civil War.
Well, that's that weird time when there's no Star Wars movies.
Right, yeah. Post prequels, but pre-Disney era.
Correct.
So we're entering into the Clone Wars cartoon series era of just this is what Star Wars is now.
And that makes sense that there were a lot of things that were then just filling in gaps. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that guy's in there.
Yeah, because we get a little bit of background on him, and we get a retcon of what he is. He is from the planet Kali. The Kalish, as they're called, the natives of that planet. Do you know who else is a Kalish?
Who's that?
General Grievous.
Ah, I was going to say, it sounds familiar.
So...
I love General Grievous. Great
General Grievous rules, right?
Very cool bad guy. Love him.
Now, what we know about General Grievous is he was a badass warrior of some kind, slowly turned himself more machine-like so that he could better hunt Jedi.
So cool. When he's just lungs hanging inside of a robot skeleton.
And he's got the weird lizard eyes behind the mask still, but yeah.
So he's originally looked like this guy, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, vaguely. I mean, the rendering of the species has changed over time, but you could, if it's one of those if you squint, you can see it.
Well, it's very John Carter-y at the moment. So
yeah, at the moment. But the idea is that this guy is of the same species technically as General Grievous.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I mean, so it sounds like they took the bare bones of this character and expanded it into something new.
And specifically with this character, we establish that he joined the Empire after the reformation of the Republic into the Empire. This guy on his homeworld was like, nah, fuck that shit, and was a constant thorn in the Empire's side for 10 years. Until, what's this? This young up-and-comer in the Imperial Navy by the name of Captain Thrawn comes and sorts his ass out.
Nice. I love that Thrawn.
And this is one of Thrawn's proving himself missions is where stopping this guy.
Where are you? Is this all still from the RPG book?
RPG book and the Aliens of the Empire. It's filling in a lot of information. I think Aliens of the Empire is what establishes this guy as a Kalish, and then the Empire at War book, in its establishment of Thrawn's rise to power, mentions this guy.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's so little here in this comic, really, that you could easily expand that into.
Totally. So it sort of explains why we have this Imperial warlord who is so non-human is Thrawn saw the merit of this guy and said, hey, I just beat your ass, but would you like a job?
That's cool. I
Right?
like that. Yeah, none of that matters here.
None of that matters because it's not in this comic.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I just thought it was cool in my like deep dive. I usually try to look up every character who's introduced in this comic and see like, oh, were they ever used in anything else? Do they ever show back up? And this guy had like a weird amount of stuff.
Yeah, but never has made his way into an animated episode or a movie or anything.
List of appearances include this issue and the previous issue.
Yeah. Filoni, he's yours for the taking.
Hey, if we want some Scar. I mean, look, Grievous's backstory has always been one that's like, we have the basic thrust of what happened, and like the only canon representation we have of it is in one episode of the Clone Wars, in which they like break into his base.
I'm shocked there hasn't been a Grievous novel like the Tarkin novel or something like that.
There's been a comic book series, but it's like that was pre-Disney takeover.
Right, yeah, so none of that counts anymore. Anyway, this dumb himbo is going, Leia was right. This empire, she spoke of, must be behind the uprising in the waste and the growing talk of unrest within the... So, also, the empire has been whispering in the ear of this planet to cause unrest?
So we've established that this is just Mars of Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars series.
Yeah.
They are like a weird fusion of technologically advanced and technologically like low, because they use swords and weird laser pistols. They also have flying cars, but they don't have spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this weird mishmash of like ancient technology and like feudalism.
Which is classic space fantasy stuff, but once again, isn't really Star Wars-y.
Right. Because the minute you like make a planet disconnected from the larger Star Wars, as it were, it feels weird.
Well, it's always strange when people are like, what is this empire you speak of?
Right.
I mean, there are fringe worlds, but it does feel like most people are aware. They've made their presence known, folks.
But all of that is to say that, like, why would the Empire have to ferment discontent within this world when a Star Destroyer could just show up in orbit?
And that's what happens now. I guess what they got bored or whatever. They're like, that's taking too long. Just fuck them up. Yeah, they're really, once again, yeah, they do just sort of stomp people out. I don't think of the Empire as being very subtle.
Yeah, and I guess, like, the excuse here is that, like, okay, the population here is, like, really badass, so if we could get them on our side, that would be cool.
Yes.
It's sort of a Fremen situation in Dune. Sure, yeah. But Sakaar doesn't really care. He just wants to kick the crap out of John Carter here.
He sure does. And Starfire Rising...
Lord Aaron.
What? What does Starfire Rising mean in this?
Don't worry about it.
All right. Anyway, here we go. Let's turn the page here. He's getting his ass kicked some more.
Yeah, one thing that always weirds me out is when these big Infantino aliens are wearing boots.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I don't know. I expect them to have, like, weird-shaped feet, so seeing them just wear people boots is always odd to me.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a very Thanos boot here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he even says, he goes, your swords and cavalry against our blasters and armored walkers. Yeah, exactly. Even if these people are super badass, you can just steamroll them.
Yeah, 100%.
They have nothing that can combat even the lowest levels of Imperial technology.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, you know what? Stormtrooper armor actually might be good against a rapier.
And he says here, we do not want your people slain, merely their spirits broken. The Empire needs troops. Number one, do they? They seem to have a lot of people.
Well, I mean, look, you're always burning through stormtroopers, so having a fresh crop is never bad.
Your world will provide the fiercest fighters in the galaxy. No, I'm probably not. I mean, maybe, but you, number one, you're going to lose something, and if they're not really on board, it's very tough to make people fight fiercely for you.
Yeah, I think there's some flaws in the Empire's
Yeah,
expansionism.
this is not great. I mean, and you know that Vader's not out here, man. This is not a plane.
No,
You know, this
no,
is
no,
this,
no,
is
no,
this is
no.
like if that could happen, great. But we're not going to put our top resources on it. This is not
The
for top men.
Someone's gonna go like, Emperor Palpatine, we have our agent Scar sending in a report, and Emperor Palpatine's gonna go, who?
Yeah. Scar is the Homer Simpson to the Emperor's Mr. Burns. Who's that man?
You know, that blue up-and-comer, he promoted this weird alien guy? Nope, not familiar at all, sorry.
He's not ringing any bells. Is he doing a good job? That's good. Yeah, tell him I gave him a thumbs up. Yeah. Anyway, back to Death Star construction. That's really where I'm putting my time these days. So anyway,
Local population in the moon of Endor? Nah, leave them alone. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fuck it, whatever. They won't be a problem. What, a planet of little teddy bears? It's all right. It'll be okay. Anyway, Leia gets thrown in, gets pushed in. Just this open palm guy pushing her like.
Yeah, where are they? They're in like a pit somewhere?
I guess it didn't look like that initially when they established
I thought they were on a spaceship. Let's go back to the
Yeah.
previous page. It
No,
looks
it's
like they're on a
clearly
ship somewhere.
metal hull of a spaceship, and
And
then
then we-
suddenly we're in like a stone. Yeah, I don't.
There's a brick well somewhere.
don't know.
Again, they're just really trying to jigsaw this art together to make a story that makes sense.
This dude is incensed by what's going on here.
Oh, the look on his face.
Such grief and pain in her voice. What was done to her so long ago?
Yeah, because Leia is saying, like, look, I'm fine, even though I got pushed down some stairs. I've been through way worse.
At the hands of, this was my favorite, by the way. This is my favorite so far. Editor note is at the hands of Darth Vader and the now legendary Star Wars #2.
Thanks, Wheezy. Really appreciate that one.
Who could forget the classic issue Star Wars #2?
Yeah.
Or, you know, the most popular movie ever made. It also happened in. Anyway.
Why Louise Simonson feels the need to point that out is beyond me. But anyway.
Jim Shooter walked by and goes, whoa, 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 put legendary in there.
We want the secondary market to really rank up the price on
Yeah.
Star Wars #2.
That's a wall book now. You understand me? And of course, big surprise, evil mustache guy is evil.
Shocker.
He's crooked, man. You were one of my most trusted aides. I'm a realist, Aaron. I mean, okay, actually his logic is not faulty, where it's like, we stand no chance against, we may kick a bunch of ass on this planet, but we maybe should just sign up with these people. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Did the Empire even try to go to Aaron Peacebringer and say, hey man, why don't you join us?
No, because he had no idea they even existed.
Right. So, but like, here's a guy who is warlord of a planet. You'd think the Empire would be A-okay with this dude. Mm-hmm. What? He's brought peace to his world through dominance on a military battlefield? He sounds like our kind of guy.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, wouldn't you think they'd be on board for someone called Warlord?
But Emperor, you don't understand. He's the protagonist. He can't be on our team.
Oh, got it. So anyway, it's going to be this guy who's like way too on board.
Yeah. So
And this thing is basically just like, they told me I can rule as long as I just like say it's for the Empire. Then we're all good.
yeah. And then we get a huge page of
Oh my God.
captions as he envisions the future that is to come.
Look what this son of a bitch is going to do to my planet.
Yeah.
His blood
Scar
runs cold.
and his foul crew planned to approach the city aboard a facsimile of a Callian aerial battleship. Their cargo, a massive antimatter bomb.
Yeah. That's bad.
So they're going to blow up not Helium.
Yep.
Helium being the main city from John Carter.
Oh yeah, what
has-
is it, like Arachium or something like that?
ILLYRIAQ with an umlaut M. So
I could not.
Illyracum.
I could not keep a continuous pronunciation of that in my head reading this.
Again, my head just immediately deleted that word and replaced it with the one from John Carter.
Well, yeah, because of course. And also, like we said, all the changes are for the worse. All the stuff in John Carter is better named.
I wish they had chosen another noble gas to name the city
There you
after.
go.
That would have been clever.
They weren't even thinking.
The city of Argon.
Yeah, actually, City of Argon's pretty good.
Right? I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that. But they were this is, turn it out, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, this was Chris Claremont just pulling letters out of a Scrabble bag and being like, sure, that works.
Here's a mix of some Simonson and Infantino art here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Infantino's got some like rough faces, but then there's some like copy paste of Simonson in here as well.
Yeah. Anyway, he's really pissed. He's red in the face, literally.
But he's also like, that's his skin color, even though at the top left of this page he's a white guy.
That's what I mean. So it just looks like he's like, ooh, I'm mad.
But on the, hold on, no, because his skin tone is supposed to be that reddish pink.
Right.
So when he's drawn as a white guy in the top left of this page.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
No, he's kind of a two-face. It's the other side of his face. No.
Oh, got it. Wait, hold on. No, it's not. It's the same side.
Same side. It's the same side. I just realized. So none of the, as if that would have made sense, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Jesus. All right. God damn it. This is horrible.
I had no illusions about my fate. Sk'ar left me with none about Leia's. She could face him like one carved of ice, raging with a cold inner fire, defiant, unconquerable, beautiful. At that moment, I knew I had lost my heart to her.
Oh, for Christ's sake. I love that that's what this guy's thinking about. He's about to lose his planet, possibly die, but he's just like, God damn, this woman's hot.
Because she's not reacting to this asshole.
I know, that's also a weird thing to be like, her coldness is so attractive. Her lack of emotions.
The emotional barriers she set up about her trauma are really a big turn on for me.
Damn. This guy's fucked up, man. There's something wrong with this guy. That's all I know.
Well, yeah, because he's in the wrong book. Anytime a character is transposed into a different book, it's like in Beyond the Spider-Verse when you start glitching if you're in the wrong universe.
This guy needs to... Actually, I can't tell who should be glitching out here, whether it's him or Leia who should be glitching.
Well, Leia creates a I'm the main character field around her at any point in time. So anything within a 5-foot radius of Leia is immediately a Star Wars book.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right, let's turn the page. He's pissed, but also turned on.
Yeah, so we have these stormtroopers who herd them out of the dungeon they're now in.
They've changed locations like 5 times.
But Princess Leia is not to be harmed because the Emperor and Darth Vader want her alive.
Yes, that's very key.
Because they're about to make their escape, and Leia uses the fact that nobody wants to kill her to her advantage as she gets into the rough and tumble here.
And apparently she went to Starfleet Academy based on this hammer punch she throws.
Look, we know it universally works well.
She made the mistake that she didn't circle around him first.
All I'm saying, John, is if in the 3rd season of Strange New Worlds, if somebody doesn't double fist punch a Gorn, I'm going to be sad.
Just give me that. Yeah, that's what they teach in the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, he's just like, yeah, she just goes like, no, they're not going to kill me, so it's cool. Also, thank God her outfit's been ripped suggestively.
Oh, of course. Well, look, this is a sword and sandal space fantasy, so
yeah. And then
if you're already not wearing nothing at all, your outfit will get ripped suggestively.
Turn the page as I get pissed.
Okay.
Because there's a struggle over a dagger.
Yeah, Leia's about to get stabbed. Even though these guys have orders not to kill her, this guy's trying to jam a knife into Leia's face.
This guy didn't get the memo, apparently. But she ends up stabbing him.
Right, but not before John Carter uses his earthbound strength to break free. Wait, hold on. No, that's not a thing in this book. How does he break his chains?
No, I don't know, because they don't establish that he's even the John Carter equivalent of not being native to this planet. It seems like he just belongs on this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's a
But
native.
then I don't understand. But, well, except for, I'm sorry, Claremont forgot what book he was writing and mentions this guy's berserker rage. Jesus, Claremont.
He literally uses the words berserker rage. It's true.
Because when he goes, my battle madness, and I went, oh, what is this guy got berserker rage? And then it's like, oh, he actually says berserker rage.
A berserker rage that transforms one into a superhuman, nigh irresistible killing machine, like some kind of short Canadian man.
But irresistible is a weird word. Nigh irresistible, not nigh invulnerable. Nigh irresistible.
Well, the killing is what cannot be resisted.
No, I understand you, but it's a weird use of the word to me. By the way, there's a few times in this I'm like, do I have to get my thesaurus out to read this? Because there's a
Claremont, baby.
That's a couple Claremont things where I'm just like, I get it. You went to college, Chris. Anyway, so yes, he thinks Leia's been stabbed, but of course it's a classic movie thing of no, she did the stabbing, but she's real upset about it. Which I almost threw my iPad across the room reading this yesterday, because the whole idea about like I've taken life, even though we've seen her kill countless. We always she does nothing but kill in this comic.
So,
and in the movie,
if you want to take it as covering their bases with this,
I know.
His dialogue specifically says, "Then I turned the blade back against him. He looked so surprised when it stabbed him, Aaron. I saw the light fade from his eyes. I felt his last breath. I've never, not like this. I.
Fuck off."
So the idea, I guess, in this issue is that Leia has never intimately killed somebody up close.
Yeah. Fuck off. No, it's not. Bullshit. This woman is a freedom fighter, all right?
Uh-huh.
She made peace with that a long time ago.
In the 2 issues before this, we saw Leia in a hallway do some John Wick-style disarming and killing of people using guns that were not her own.
I mean, one of the defining parts of this character that really set her aside from other action heroines in film is in New Hope, when she grabs that blaster and just opens up on stormtroopers. I mean, and I've seen countless female fans of Star Wars talk about, like, I'd never seen a woman in a movie do that.
Like, she jerks the gun out of somebody else's hand and goes, time to open fire.
Yeah, and it's just all of us. It's one of the reasons she became an icon, this character of just this woman who was like, yeah, I needed you to rescue me by getting me out of this cell, but it's fucking go time, man.
Obviously, this comes before a moment in which she will strangle a space slug to death with her bare hands.
You also get that badass moment where the stormtroopers have their guns on Han in Jedi as well, and she just casually pulls out her pistol and grins.
And that's when Han says, I love you, and she says, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Their romance is based around murder.
I mean, a little bit.
No, but it is so much of the Han and Leia romance is a meeting of equals on that sense.
Yeah.
They are both badass survivors.
They're both willing to do whatever it takes. The whatever it takes is what, like, shifts for the two of them and meets in the middle, right?
Right. And it's great. And this is once again, this comic just can't not assassinate Leia's character.
Yeah. Well, look.
I held her close and comforted her in my big, strong man arms. I hate it.
So let's spend the whole page flying away.
Well, let's fly away in a Silver Age bat vehicle. Look at the fin on this thing.
It's the Bat-Thopter jet.
Batman. There they go. Oh, now we owe Warner Brothers money. Sorry.
Quickly, old chum, to the Bat hovercraft.
Maybe that's what he should sound like.
Leia, the airship, there it is.
Stop calling me Robin. Never. Yeah, so they fly. Whatever. They fly away.
Well, because they're trying to catch up with Scar, because he's going to drop a big bomb on not helium.
Yeah, this guy is just babbling, though. This narration.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text boxes, each of them at least 4 lines long. Yeah.
And all of it pointless. It's all just about like, and he's just explaining. He's like, oh well, here's the thing. Obviously, Leia's used to a different kind of killing. When you kill people in space, you don't really feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe Leia has not actually stuck a knife into someone's liver before.
Her expression severe, her thoughts grim. It was as if she had died and not the officer.
Especially when the last issue was all about, like, her trying to cope with the death of her own planet. The fact that, like, this is what breaks her, I don't know.
A planet it's a statistic. You didn't really see the murder like this. Who wouldn't this fuck up? Am I right?
And maybe there is a better story to be told about, like, Leia considering the cost of a single life, but it being wedged into a John Carter story is not
That's
where it
the big
needs to
problem. The
happen.
other thing is I think that I could imagine a smaller reaction of her reacting like this.
Yeah.
Her just being broken by it, but more just like, I've never seen anything like, I've never done anything like that. I wouldn't see it. It might give her pause, but I can't see it just be like, oh my God, oh God. She's been basically fighting a war her whole life.
Yeah, but again, like, she's not, like, breaking down. She's, like, getting cold and steely, and it's, like,
well, she was breaking down earlier. Now she's
sure.
Yeah.
And you know what would make that maybe more effective that this comic could never do because of, like, Comics Code Authority and that this is for children, is, like, come away with Leia holding the knife smeared in this guy's blood, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said. Star Wars can get into that stuff, and more effectively has. However, this comic, it's a couple times that it's tried to really like deal with the consequences of war. It has failed miserably.
Sure. Well, half the time it's, well, you need to remove yourself from war entirely and become a space genie.
Yeah.
I'm never going to forget the space genie.
That issue, I have no idea what that book was trying to say.
Well, again, that was a very compromised book. J.M. DeMatteis said as much.
Yeah, exactly, and that shows. This is not even compromised as much as it shouldn't exist.
Yeah. So we cut back to Scar with some Imperials, and what's this? Launch the TIE Fighters, because that's clearly Aaron Peacebringer and that other lady who's supposed to be the main character, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Let me check the script here. By the way, this Imperial helmet on this guy really doesn't look right.
Well, maybe because it's trying to cover up for the fact that he should be a bug-eyed alien.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Anyway, there's some flying around, some spaceships explode.
TIE Fighters. Interesting note here. Claremont, highlights the acronym of TIE Fighter that I don't see a lot of authors doing.
Also saw that, too. Usually it's written all in caps, but not with the periods.
Yeah, because TIE stands for Twin Ion Engine, is what that acronym stands for. The fact that I know that. I didn't even have to look that up. I just said that. That was in my brain.
Yeah, you see, that's where you go one step. I know it's good for something. I could not have been able to tell you. But then I like how some of the X-Wings just form X's with their wings.
Well, that's, yeah. Now, the real head scratcher is the B-Wing.
Yeah, because the Y-Wing looks like a Y. The X-Wing looks like an X. The B-Wing...
looks like a T.
Yeah. Well, we can't call it the T-Wing. That's stupid.
And the A-Wing is like little squat, and it looks like an A shape, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yep. Now,
with the B-Wing.
Anyway, there's a dogfight with some weirdly proportioned TIE fighters because they need to be covering up the fact that they're blocked out other art.
Yeah, this is where you get lots of weird, like, the spacing between the wings of this TIE fighter, and you're like, what? Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, they've been drawing over stuff.
Yep. There's a lot of dialogue happening here about Leia being like, this is what the Empire does, and then she goes on to say, like, you think I'm a good pilot, you should know about Luke Skywalker, the guy who taught me everything I know.
Welcome to another thing I hated in this. Leia spoke Skywalker's name with a soft, almost unconscious caress. She obviously cared for him a great deal. I hated him.
So
you know what would really endear me to a comic? Making somebody just despise the main character that's off screen. That makes me really.
who he's never met, and he
Yeah.
only dislikes because Leia said his name with fondness.
No toxic masculinity in there at all.
Nah.
None. Oh, no. Fucking Luke Skywalker. The second I see him, I'm going to kick that little nerd's ass.
I love someone referring to Luke Skywalker as a little nerd.
I've never even met him, but I can only assume he's some kind of Poindexter. Yeah.
I'm gonna kick his glasses right through his face.
He's so getting sand in his face, and I don't even know how much he's going to hate that because I don't know his backstory.
We've never seen a toilet in Star Wars, but I bet I could give this little nerd a swirly.
He's getting a wedgie so bad.
I'm gonna pull his robes right up his ass.
And by the way, spoiler, they will fight briefly. Come on, man.
So, they get shot down, but they manage to crash land basically onto Scar's ship by diving out of their speeder.
Yeah. Great.
John Carter manages an otherworldly jump and lands on it, but Leia kind of botches the attempt.
Yeah, she doesn't do as well. No, she says.
Where'd she get this costume from? What?
Also,
when she got kidnapped, she was wearing like a stately like dress.
Yeah. Now she's in she actually somehow got in the bathing suit from Creature from Black Lagoon. It was very interesting that she would get that. Also, you want to talk about a wedgie?
Oh yeah, that's going right up to butt crack right there.
She's also got very Electra-like boots, and Electra doesn't even exist yet with the straps.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Leia is dangling, scared maiden like off the edge of this ship,
and this is reminiscent of Stan Lee. The idea about like this projection was barely in reach. I'm lucky I caught it. I have eyes. I can see that.
But my arm is wrenched. I don't know if I have the strength to pull myself up.
Take my hand, my lady. I wish you'd called her little lady. That would have made more sense for how condescending I mean. Once again, grab my big, strong man arm.
Yeah, and they get into a big fight on the deck of this ship. Leia's dress becomes strapless there for a second in the bottom of this panel.
Dress is all over the place, man.
It's not even a dress. It's a unitard with a girdle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very 50s bathing suit. That's why I brought up that.
Yeah.
Oh, look up a picture from Creature of the Black Lagoon. That's exactly what this looks like.
Her outfit looks like any time Marvel or DC has tried to like have the Greek gods show back up. This is inevitably what like Aphrodite looks like.
Yes, I think that's pretty accurate. I do like on this last panel here, she seems to have gotten over her compulsion about point-blank murder because she's just shooting this guy right in the chest.
But guns are different, John. They don't have the same visceral intensity of stabbing someone in the liver.
I guess not.
Anyway, there's a big fight. A lot of these guys look real weird because they're clearly drawn over guys that were there originally.
And another, the weird pose of him grabbing Leia and her thrusting her chest out.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do, but it looks real weird. I don't know who to blame for this.
Yeah, you're talking about the top left panel there where he's like got her around the waist and it looks like she's being jerked by the navel.
Yeah, like I don't know what's causing her to bend completely back like that. It's so weird.
Yeah, you want to talk about weird. Look at how the two characters are stacked in that next panel on the top there. So her head is in his crotch, but she's clearly behind him because of where her arm is in comparison to the leg that's coming out from behind her head.
Oh, they drew her in after the fact, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't do this. Here's lesson. This is an interesting lesson for comics artists. This episode, I like to think this is an educational program. You can't do this. Maybe in today's digital world, you might be able to do it better, at least. But don't.
There was a recent, and I say recent, like within the last 5 years, there was a series of Mystery Science Theater 3000 comics.
They were very fun.
in which they basically did that, but again, for comedic effect.
For comedic effect, but yes, they because the whole thing is how do you do MST3K? Well, they're instead of commenting on movies, they're commenting on old comic books. So yes, all the MST3 characters are being drawn into old, what at this point are probably public domain comics.
Right, exactly.
And it was super fun. I thought that was great.
So we get into the lower decks of this ship with a pell-mell that is described in dialogue as opposed to shown, so that's always fun.
Yeah. With that, we began a madcap helter-skelter chase.
Yeah, wouldn't we love to see that chase sequence? Probably
Too bad.
not, but
Too bad. Yeah, no, I don't. Based on what I've seen here, I'm not sure we missed a whole lot.
but they make their way to the big bomb that's going to be dropped on the city.
What's going on with his hair here?
Oh, he's turning Super Saiyan.
Because I understand in the other panels he's falling, but here I think he's on solid ground. His hair is still jutting up.
Yeah, that's that old Martian sweat actually also works as hair product and styling gel that he's suffusing out of his scalp.
So let's turn the page here, and oh no, it's Evil Mustache.
Evil Mustache? Where did he come from? Oh, top of frame.
But then also, yeah, it's a Spielberg.
But also, who else is here? It's Luke Skywalker.
Why not?
Where did he come from? Well, top of frame.
Oh yeah, Luke. Could this youth be the Skywalker she had mentioned with such a... Gee, I don't know, man. Why don't you take a guess?
Also, it's not, because look at his face.
Oh, no.
There's some real, weird Infantino, meathead face on Luke Skywalker here.
Look at his outfit, too. He doesn't dress like this.
Well, and this outfit is clearly drawn on after the fact.
Right, yeah. Because this was clearly maybe that other guy.
Maybe, yeah.
The second in command.
Well,
guy.
The way he's holding his hand, it definitely looks like should have had a sword in his hand, right?
Yes, definitely. Instead, he's socking this guy in the jaw, and as he says, "You're pretty sharp when it comes to stabbing someone in the back." Boy, that's an Errol Flynn movie line if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Boy,
because Leia gets hacked in the arm by Evil Mustache guy.
Right.
But then Luke socks him one good right in the jaw. Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Pow, zing, right to the moon.
And then leaping down from, I guess, off panel, it's Tarkus and Chewbacca.
I don't know where they're coming from.
Sorry, Carol Longknife.
Oh, who could... right, yeah, the beloved character. How could you make such a mistake? Yeah, they're coming out of nowhere.
Well, they're dropping down off the Millennium Falcon that's swooping by above.
Yeah. But number one, they could jump that far, and two, the physics of that really adds up. We're here.
Carol, it is good to see you, my brother. But what is that fuzzy giant by your side?
He is a Wookiee Aaron called Chewbacca, and he is as formidable a warrior as I have ever met.
Remember that whole long section in the first issue where Leia couldn't understand what any of these guys were saying?
Oh, they're all just fucking chit-chatting now.
I would love it if, okay, they can't understand Galactic Basic, but they understand Wookiee perfectly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shriwook is the language. I know this.
Come on, man. Jesus. You're supposed to be the one who keeps up with that stuff.
I know. I apologize. There's a lot. I'm trying to hold two universes in my head at the same time.
I know,
here, John.
Yeah, man, reality's crumbling around us. But look at how gigantic Luke Skywalker is here.
Oh, yeah. Because he's another of these Martian meatheads that has been drawn to vaguely be Luke Skywalker.
Hamill's a smaller dude.
No, but what if he was fucking Liefeld Captain America in this middle left panel?
He's enveloping Leia, and you're like, I don't know, he's maybe a little bigger than Carrie Fisher. All right, Leia, our search for you is over. Thank the Force, but you're hurt.
Chewie, radio Lando. Get on the walkie-talkie.
Oh, yeah, Lando's here, too. Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess he was the one flying the Falcon.
Yeah, I would have to be, yeah.
But I do like, and that bomb is ticking. I have to disarm it. There's no time to teach you. Because Leia knows how to disarm this bomb.
I guess she does.
I mean, I can't refute it. They tell me she does, and she does. So, all right.
I'd believe Leia would know how to disarm a bomb.
Maybe.
Like,
it's not outside the realm of reality, but it's a little tossed in still, is I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not like totally broken by it,
But then we have, like, it's hard, so much to remember. I can't afford the slightest mistake. My arm hurts, and I feel so weak. Makes it difficult to concentrate. No, I won't yield. I won't fail. I had to stand by helplessly and watch as my homeworld, Alderaan, was destroyed. I won't let this world die again.
This is another one, too, where I'm like, what? Oh, also earlier, wait, is it? No, I think maybe it's coming later. No, it is coming later. I'll bring it up when we get to it. Never mind. But anyway, I do like the way she's also just like, she got sliced on the arm. Once again, this is a woman who's been in a lot of combat. She's like, owie, owie, owie. My arm, it really
next page. Who's this caped, daring do-gooder coming down out of the Falcon?
And then, I guess because it's his catchphrase now is, well, what have we here?
Sure. Yeah, why not? But he says it in his head.
Yeah, that's right. That's how I talk to myself. I say, what have we here, Lando? Well, I don't know, Lando. Why don't we investigate? That's a good idea, Lando.
This page definitely stood out to me as like one of the most tampered with, obviously, because in a John Carter book, you'd never have a handsome black man show up. Sorry, but it is a
black guy,
book that is rife with early 20th century race relations problems.
Yeah, I mean, it was written around turn of the century, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not quite as problematic as a Lovecraft, but it's getting there.
Yeah, I will say
Tarzan, I think, carries more of that.
Tarzan's like a little bit more problematic, at least in terms of like depictions of African cultures. With the John Carter stuff, at least the point of those books is that there shouldn't be any sort of superiority between races. I guess.
Fascinating that a Confederate soldier is the one to teach that lesson.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lando comes around. I do like Lando dual wielding. That's cool.
Yeah, but then he gets whapped.
I hate
but not after he
ugly, but this is as far as you go. Spill.
But unfortunately, what's this? I have a personal force shield, cretin. No hand blaster made can penetrate it.
Have we seen that in Star Wars?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a Dune thing.
I mean, I guess if you count like the destroyer droids have those like bubble shields.
Yeah, but those are droids. That's powered by the droids themselves. So
yeah,
we've never seen anyone. No. We've seen hand shields like the Gungans have them.
Yeah, but not like a body shield that's invisible to the naked eye.
Once again, that's a Dune thing.
Yeah, but even Dune shields you can see.
It's true. Yeah. Sometimes they're big, blocky 80s technology.
I do love that Frank Herbert, in his wisdom, went out of his way to make a sci-fi setting in which, well, they got to fight with swords and knives because those are cool. So let's invent some weird technology that makes bullets useless.
It's one of my favorite things in Dune. The slow knife, right? You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's cool. Because, you know what? Because swords and knives are cool, man. I also like Lando being like, I'll just lay here and pretend I died.
We get a very Walter Simonson.
Where did Cape go?
He got hit so hard it knocked it off.
Because you distinctly see it's a purple cape with a red lining, and then there's just his blue shirt. Yeah. He whapped my cape off.
It's like in Scott Pilgrim. She hit you so hard your highlights came out.
Yeah. He knocked your highlights out. Best. Just so people know, Scott Pilgrim, it's the best.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Leia disarms the bomb on this next page.
And then she's crying again.
Warmly embraces Luke Skywalker.
Which she could do, but maybe not now. Because Lando's like, hey, that guy's getting away.
Then the most badass thing in this book happens.
Oh, the only reason to read this. Chewie's just like, got it.
Fucking rips a panel off the side of the ship and just wings it at the escape craft.
Yeah. He's getting away. No, he's not.
Imagine if the bad guy at the end of an action movie was flying away in the escape helicopter, and one of the heroes just picked up a rock and threw it at the helicopter, and it exploded. That's what happens here.
There might be a Schwarzenegger movie where that happens.
But, like, yeah, Chewie just wings this metal piece of steel at the craft, and then we just get a panel that's just an exploding spaceship.
As they say here, Chewbacca's improvised missile was a solid steel gun mount. Its weight was awesome, yet he lifted it with childish ease and threw it with murderous accuracy. Fuck yeah, man.
Chewbacca.
One character not damaged by this, Chewbacca, still a goddamn badass.
Chewbacca even has a gun. It's like, no, I don't even need that.
I've got this. Yeah. Everybody back away. He does like a, yeah, all right, here we go.
Chewbacca's little utilized Olympic discus skills coming into effect.
I know, I want to see this in a movie now. That's awesome. He threw it with such force, it exploded on impact. I mean, my God, that's insane.
So either he threw it so hard that it, like, erupted, or he was so accurate he hit a fuel cell or something. Either way.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. I know, it's the only part of the book where I was like, all right, that was really cool. That's what I'm about with Star Wars comic. Chewbacca doing insane shit. And then more of a, I had loved Leia. Insanely, hopelessly, helplessly. Come on, man. But I learned, it's just like, but then I learned she would never be mine. Yeah, because you're fucking married, man.
Also, you're from a different story.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, hold on. That doesn't make any sense.
I finally admitted that my mad, all-consuming need for her faded, like the sickness it had been. I would always love her, but I would at last live without her.
This guy is just so cool. He can just be like, I don't love her anymore. I've decided it. Anyway, never going to worry about that again.
Moving on. Let's have a party.
And another party. It's a party.
Yeah, real looking feathered hair looking Luke in this bottom left panel.
Oh, yeah. The hairstylist from Donnie and Marie got a hold of him. And, yeah.
The next 100 hours were busy, as the Callian fleet was mobilized and later descended on Sk'ar's base and pounded it into rubble. Simultaneously, Delion's fellow conspirators were rooted out. Those who were not slain in battle were taken into custody to be tried for high treason.
I love comic book writing like this, where it's like, and then everything was fine. Don't worry, we wrapped it all up.
Yeah, and then we have Luke and Leia, and Luke with some internal dialogue that will become extremely awkward when Return of the Jedi comes out.
Oh, is it ever?
Leia and I have lost so much, yet we still have each other, true friends unto death, and perhaps one day, something more than friends?
I don't like this for two reasons. One is the obvious Return of the Jedi makes it awkward. But the other thing is, the man she loves is frozen in carbonite and he's your best friend. Fuck off, Skywalker.
In Luke's defense, he wasn't there for that scene.
You telling me Leia didn't tell him that?
Also, I professed my love to Han before he was trapped in carbonite. I actually don't think that is something Leia would share.
I would think so. Once again, the fact that this comic is trying to keep this love... I think the love triangle's over, folks. I think Empire made it pretty clear, regardless of if they were siblings, it's Han and Leia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Luke's got other things to worry about right now.
That's the thing.
Like,
I don't think
is Darth Vader my dad?
Yeah, I don't even think Luke's think. Oh, he's not bothered by that at all right now. What trauma these people feel shifts from issue to issue. What they're
depends on the writer.
Yeah, it really does. And then
I think after this, we're going to settle into Michelini for a while, and I really hope he sticks with the quality that we saw in the 2 issues before this arc.
That's the first time it's really felt like Star Wars to me. Like, truly, consistently with the characters I know, continuing the story of Empire. Mm-hmm. And so, John Carter and Dacia Thoris are real happy about all this.
Right. And they celebrate, and then... Lando is just covered in sexy Martian ladies.
Lando's going to have an orgy before we leave, folks. Don't you worry about it. Lando's going to get some.
Across the floor, Lando Calrissian found himself at the center of attention of nearly every unattached woman in the court, and more than a few daring souls that were attached.
Hey, Lando don't care about rings.
But they've got to get out of here, so of course, 3PO and R2 need to show up.
It's in their contracts, man. You can't keep them out of here.
I didn't mention it last episode, but they weren't there, and it felt weird.
I'm shocked Leia didn't crash land on the planet with 3PO or something, you know?
3PO would have had his head torn off within like a minute of being on this planet.
R2, though, R2 would have been too effective and murdered everyone, as we know.
Yeah. So then we get this weird comedy scene at this last minute of like...
We're in a sitcom.
Chewie, go grab Lando. He's too busy being sexy.
And then he does by barreling his way through the crowd and basically swatting people away.
Again, this is all art that has been transposed from a different comic that they just have to reuse.
Him grabbing this guy makes no sense.
Because it's supposed to be a giant Thark, and that's not what's drawn here. It's a Wookiee.
And then he slams Lando into the wall, violent enough that it would probably kill him, right? Like, look at that.
Whereas
this is the guy we just saw throw a metal plate and blow up a ship.
Okay, I get the message. You want to talk to me, but it better be good. So what he wants to talk about, though, is that R2 is picking up something on his sensors.
Yeah. This is what I wanted to talk about when we get the Star Destroyer, because it is, I really, reading this, and even just now I got fooled again. I'm like, wait, this is the end? Oh, wait. That's just like, no, need more action.
Because we got to get out of here. We're still on our party duds, but let's get on the Millennium Falcon. And now we have a very different looking Luke Skywalker being drawn by Walt Simonson.
And a Leia who's been costumed by the person who dressed Mae West.
Wiki, Wild West, one might say.
Even so. But yeah, she's wearing this giant thing. She's like, yeah, they gave it to me. Anyway, I'm still really sad. War cloak, she calls it.
War cloak, sure. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's this? TIE fighters are coming. It's a Star Destroyer. We never actually see a Star Destroyer until the very last panel of the page.
This is what I was going to bring up earlier, because I thought we had skipped past it because I forgot that this it showed up at the end. She goes, there's Star Destroyers coming. It's Alderaan all over again. Well, no, it's not. The Star Destroyer can't blow up the planet. I mean, it could decimate a lot of stuff. But in fact, they're trying to build stakes that aren't there, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, because Leia's all sad that another planet is going to fall under the Imperial thumb, and there's nothing she can really do about it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't feel it.
Well, don't worry, John, because a convenient black hole is going to make this irrelevant.
Yeah. So they go to the Falcon gunner seats.
And they start shooting TIE fighters. I think this is all definitely Simonson at this point.
Yeah. Because there's no John Carter stuff here. I think we've run out of John Carter stuff.
Yeah. So they stretched it as far as they could.
And now we get a Star Wars battle scene. And so they're taking out TIE fighters, which, as we know, are pretty easy, it seems like.
Yeah. But Lando's not the best pilot in the world, so we're running out of options to dodge this Star Destroyer.
Yeah. And so, yeah, here comes the Star Destroyer.
Luke's rushing up to the cockpit saying, hey,
furious about it.
You're not a good pilot. Get out of my way. I got a plan to help us get out of here. What's that? A convenient black hole that's apparently right here.
Look, a peninsula. I always think of that Simpsons joke about night. Oh, there's always a peninsula. Yeah. And so, yeah, there it is. Let me do over. I mean, it really is. Does he need to take over the controls? Even just go, Lando, there's a black hole over there.
Well, because of what Luke does, he has to take the controls here, because Luke's going to thread the needle of this event horizon and try to get this Star Destroyer basically trapped in the well of this crowd.
I don't love this exchange of, yeah, I think he's crazy too. Lando Calrissian, you're talking about the man who destroyed the Death Star.
Yeah,
I don't like Leia as hype man.
This
guy, you know what this guy's done?
But it's all to set up. the exchange that happens below that, which is
Yeah.
Luke saying, "Hang on, I'm going to fly us into this black hole," and then Leia turning to him and going, "Luke,
Yeah.
you are crazy."
Yeah. I just, yeah, that's fine. It just, I would have cleaned that up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, well, look, you cannot accuse Chris Claremont of using less words.
He's also just trying to finish this thing, man. I've got to get back to my mutants, he said.
Yeah, we get this next page that is like something out of the movie The Black Hole.
And then characters we don't
it's-
know, but are as insane as all Imperial commanders. Because this one guy is going, Captain, we're getting dangerously close to the black hole. Maintain course and speed. Where they can go, we can follow. No! Number one, you're vastly different ships.
You know that light bulk freighter that can be extremely maneuverable? I bet we can make the exact same pinpoint turns it can.
And by the way, black holes aren't that dangerous, right?
I don't know if you know what the word spaghettified means, but you're about to find out in horrible detail.
I mean, I just love time and time again we see these completely insane Imperial commanders.
Yeah.
You're like, how did they get anything done with this group of nut jobs?
Well, and that's why sometimes you have to question whether or not Thrawn is like hyper intelligent or merely competent in comparison.
Right, yeah. He's the only guy who's not just like barreling into situations like a maniac.
Yeah.
Consequences be damned.
What if, and I know this is a bold statement in the Empire, we thought about what we were about to do first?
Yeah. Because it's like when Vader does something, you're like, well, this is a personal vendetta for him. That makes sense. But when it's just like random captains like, no, go at that black hole.
Also, they're in space. The black hole is a fixed point. What if, when they saw the light bulk freighter flying into the black hole, the captain was just like, well, let's just wait here. Either they'll die or they'll come back out.
That's kind of what I thought. Is it's just like, all right, they let them take their chances then. Mm-hmm. Is how I would have written it. I'm fixing this comic, Ergoni.
But Luke's going to use the Force, and he's going to get him through this.
He sure is going to use the Force. And what does he do with the Force exactly?
He's able to pilot through a black hole.
Great.
So what he does is he, like I said, threads the needle through the event horizon, so he manages to chart a course through this, like, thin gap right before the black hole would suck them in, but where they're being affected by the gravity well, and they're able to slingshot themselves out of it, but because the Star Destroyer was basically following the same course, and they're way bigger and way slower...
Yeah, they're a giant Star Destroyer.
Yeah, it's like,
I forgot for some reason.
The semi-truck tried to keep up with the Kawasaki motorcycle.
Yeah, this guy's an idiot who we don't even know.
Well, he's going to die pretty soon, so...
Yeah.
We do get this really cool panel of the Star Destroyer being fragmented by the black hole's gravity. I really like that.
Cool. The art's very cool. It's just the setup to get there is very silly.
You know what's even sillier? The fact that all of this is still being narrated by Aaron Teespringer.
And then at the end of this narration, he goes, "Oh yeah, they told me this later. That's why I know." What?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody told me. I think this is what happened.
Leia called right after they were done with this and told me the whole thing.
Just like, you're never gonna believe this.
I know we just left, but
Yeah.
I gotta call you right back.
You have no idea how close your planet came to destruction. Anywho, it's very weird.
So then they make it, and Chewie's happy, and Lando's happy, but Leia's still sad.
Those were men, Lando. Living sentient. Fuck off. That you can't now. This is, come on. That's a start. Yeah.
Leia would not have sympathy for people working within the Imperial machine.
Yeah, I think she might have very personal reasons for hating them now.
Yeah.
A Star Destroyer that, by the way, they didn't kill. That guy's own stupidity, the commander of that, led to that. They didn't do shit.
100%.
They just blew out a thing, and they were stupid enough to follow. And by the way, none of this will matter, of course, going forward, but he'll just like, we can never lose sight of the fact that we're taking lives, which I don't want to think that during Star Wars, not on this grand a level.
I don't want to hear Leia Organa say, they were my enemies, yet I grieve for them.
Nope. So off character.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
they were part of a fascist regime and they had it coming.
And she has this big spiel at the end of this issue being like, the day we lose our capacity for grief, the day we kill without compunction or remorse, is the day we give the true final victory in this war to Darth Vader. We may defeat the Empire, but we'll have lost our souls in the process. Now compare that bit of dialogue to the Luthen speech from Andor, where he's like, I will give up everything to see a dawn I will never see. I will burn myself and everyone around me to take down this fascist regime, and I know I'm not doing it for myself.
It's the same thing we did talk about in that issue that was J.M. DeMatteis, where they were talking about, choosing a path of peace and stuff. We're like, that's all interesting in the real world. They are literally battling the forces of pure evil. This is not just a political disagreement between two sides. They're fighting elemental dark forces.
There is an evil space wizard sitting at the heart of the galaxy, and he must die.
Yeah. The post-Empire stuff, actually, like where Mandalorian and stuff and Ahsoka's, that's a little bit more interesting, because now you're into okay, you've defeated that. What do you do now? But at this point, it's pretty fucking clear. This is like going yeah, but the Nazis were people, man. So I don't know if we should. No, fuck them. It's such a strange. I don't like this tone. And this comic, I understand these are very educated, very liberal dudes who work at Marvel at this point. And they want to get into the complexity of that. You're kind of in the wrong franchise to get into it, at least in this way. Because I think Clone Wars also gets into that, but infinitely more complicated scenario there.
And yeah, the Clone Wars specifically is so much more gray in terms of the actual mechanics of that war, as opposed to Rebellion v Empire, right?
It's the same thing with it's one of the best things in and I'm always here to bring up the other Star franchise. The Dominion War in Star Trek is 100% this. Are we losing the whole idea of the Federation by becoming a military, basically?
I'm trying to remember who quoted. I mean, I think it was Hitler, honestly, who said to defeat fascism, the democracies of the world have to embrace fascist tendencies, and by the end, we will have achieved victory merely by them having conquered us. Something to that effect. And look, say what you will about Hitler, but he is the only guy to kill Adolf Hitler.
He's got that. There's the one point I can get behind there. No, but I also kind of go yeah, but that's also kind of bullshit too, right?
Sure, yeah, no, and well, look, we're living through our own little fascistic tendencies slope here in the United States at the moment.
But I'm not sure that has anything to do with that specifically.
But it has nothing to do with the war they're fighting amongst the stars.
No, it's so weird, and it's so it's so lofty for a thing that I always do go back to the great Patrick Williams video about Star Wars, where he always keeps putting up, remember, these are films about space wizards invented for children. Because that doesn't mean to diminish it, but just keep the commentary in the right place, Yeah,
yeah.
And I do think about that a lot.
What's the quote from? It's not that kind of movie.
Yeah, that's not that kind of movie. That's exactly right. All right, so we wrap up here. Everybody's sad, but God, okay, yeah, and it's just I'm a princess of Alderaan, Luke. Fate has cast me as a leader of the rebellion. For better or worse, whatever the outcome, I'll play that role to the finish. Because Luke does say, well, if you're really that upset, we could just leave you here. Which also totally sounds like Luke. But Gorgoni, don't worry, because next week we're going to Pliff.
Well, Pliff, but what's Pliff?
I guess we'll find out, according to
the caption says, find out what Pliff means next month in Star Wars number 55.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not canceling my subscription after this bullshit.
Well, but how could you not be allured by the draw of Pliff?
It's all in pink.
It could be anything.
Could be
but yeah, so that was the very bizarre tangent in this book into a completely different story.
This isn't even one of our chosen tangents.
Yeah, we were forced upon a John Carter tangent for these last two episodes.
And actually, sorry, I said next week, but I don't believe we're going to Pliff next week.
Oh, no, we're taking a slight detour away from Pliff for a little while next week as we get into another story of this era, at least in terms of the Star Wars timeline, but one that is way more near and dear to both of our hearts as we begin our coverage of Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire, one of the big Star Wars initiatives that came during our childhood as like, here you go, it's not another movie, but it's everything but a movie, that was totally designed to hype up 90s kids like us to going, ooh, new Star Wars.
Yeah. Everything but the movie is exactly right. And part of that is absolutely a comic book adaptation. Not even... we'll get into the details of it next week. I can start down this rabbit hole right now, but we're ending this episode.
Not actually an adaptation is, yes. I guess it's an interesting thing. We'll get into all the history of that. I'm sure there'll be a long prologue to that as well, because Shadows of the Empire is its own can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, if you're dying for more content from us, and why wouldn't you be, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.podbean.com/punchup. There you get cool exclusive bonus content, including movie commentaries, early episodes of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, and whole separate patron exclusive shows. All there for you to check out, as well as you can help out, support the network, and all the shows on it. So once again, that's patreon.podbean.com/punchup.
And of course, the other way to support us is to do so over on our YouTube page. One of the best ways to consume this show, at the very least, is over at youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you can see the video version of this show, where you can read the comic along with us and see exactly where those art edits we were talking about were occurring. You can also find all of our shows on the network over on YouTube, as well as some of our YouTube exclusive shows, including Punch Up Plays and Punch Up Goes to the Movies. While you're there, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and let us know in the comments below what is your association with like Star Wars vis-a-vis the emotional turmoil of these characters. Should they acknowledge that they are in fact killing lots and lots of people? Give us your thoughts.
No.
I mean, that'll do. Look, you just typing in no and hitting that in the comments, that means there's more comments in the video, and that chugs that algorithm into gear. So
yeah, it's all about the numbers, baby. Yeah, but I think that'll wrap things up, Gorgoni.
That'll do it for us this week, because as always, I have been Mike Gorgoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.